Man, what a week in golf. Beyond the Fairway, Dougie Fresco, Will Lowry. Will, man, I enjoyed seeing you last week. Will and I had a chance to go there to Rochester and kind of be a part of the pre-week festivities there at the PGA Championship. But Will, when we talk about all that we've seen, we all know Brooks Koepka won. It's not a shocker, and we'll get into that a little bit. But let's go through the week. Let's talk a little bit. What were your takeaways from being up there in Rochester?
Rochester's a great city. It's not a place.
Big town, right?
Big town. Beautiful, nice people. Rochester was way different than I thought it was going to be. Mm. Now, also, I thought it was going to be like New York. I didn't realize Rochester and New York are 9 hours apart. Did not know that. but it was a good week. From us, getting on property, doing our thing, hosting the Beyond the Green.
Yeah, I feel like they stole our title.
They do.
It's cool.
That is so much pressure to me. Beyond the Fairway, Beyond the Green, whatever. But us hosting the PGA of America, Beyond the Green. In our last episode, we kind of gave a brief synopsis of what Beyond the Green is all about. It's a section of PGA Reach, and the goal is a strategic initiative for PGA of America to diversify the workforce.
I love how you still remember that. Look at Will remembering his notes. Oh my goodness!
Absolutely. So
nailed down. Okay.
Yeah, I've been practicing that. So that's pretty much what we did. And we had a good time. We got to meet some of the Buffalo Bill players. We got to meet Josh Allen and Matt Barkley and some of those guys. And it was an overall. You forget that we're at a major, but you knew we were at a major, if that make any sense.
Well, you say a lot of shit that I don't understand.
It does sound good.
It's Willism. It's definitely a Willism. I can't shake that at all, man. I mean, us being outside the last few weeks, man, I feel like I'm a couple shades darker now. Well, I'm trying to catch you now, cuz you can't call me so beige no more.
Nah, I mean, you still beige-ish. You caramel beige-ish, but you still want to be out there in the field with me.
That's no one will understand what that means except certain people. So I appreciate the statement. Now let's get into it because I know you called me yesterday, right after Brooks won.
Yep.
And if you are under a rock, Brooks Koepka wins the 2013 PGA Championship, now his fifth major. Brooks is in all kinds of conversations, but
hold on. Let me correct you. He won the 2013 PGA Championship. No, he did not. He won the 2023 PGA Championship.
What'd I say?
2013.
Oh shit! I'm 10 years behind. Hell, I meant it 23. That's what I meant. 2023. Yeah. I don't know where I'm at right now. I'm back in DJ Unk days and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to walk it out. 2013, but. We said this on our IG page, Will. We said if Brooks wins as a LIV player, we also said we wanted to see a LIV player win.
Absolutely.
I wanted to see because what happens. And there's some conversations that we're going to get into, Will, but you called me and we were talking about Brandel and Brad Faxon, and you said that Faxon checked Brandel. We couldn't talk about it on the phone last night, so now I want to get into it. What did you see? Because I want to go there today. It'll get a little messy today on Beyond the Fairway.
Yeah, I mean, the back and I don't know if back and forth is the right word, but anytime golf in the golf world is back and forth, right? If we were hooping, it would just be a good conversation. Golf world, blows are being thrown, right? So Brando was indicating, asking Brad Faxon in regards to when it comes to Brooks Koepka being on a Ryder Cup team. And, is that fair? Because he's no longer a PGA Tour player. And Brad Faxon, I can tell he's kind of caught off guard with that question, but his reply was so right on point. He said he's still American. He wants to play for his country. So should he be penalized for that? And that's what I want to call you on and get it back and forth with that. But I kind of want to pivot from that in regards to, you said something to me that was kind of interesting. Do you feel that Brooks is missing the competition on the PGA Tour?
We talked about it at the Masters. No, 100,000 million %. There's no doubt in my mind that Brooks Koepka has missed it. Now let's rewind the clocks. We've all seen the Netflix series Full Swing. It paints a very low picture of Brooks Koepka in that he was hurt, didn't know which way was up. And you know what? At the time, I'll go ahead and say it, for Brooks Koepka, his future looked bleak. So take the live money. I get that. Now, Brooks Koepka has also has had this resurgence of health. He's got 30,000 people on his team getting him back. He alluded to more injuries in this post-game or post-round Champions interview than he let the media actually know. He had a dislocated patella and had to kind of get that situated along with the other knee. And he's had a litany of battles, Will, that he's gone through. So I understand that. So, but to your point, I don't think Brooks Koepka thought that he'd get back to the Brooks Koepka that was winning the majors via the injuries and things that he's gone through. Now, what I will say is after he was kind of injury-free, he won an event at LIV. Okay, whatever. It's 25 people in the field. Fine. I get that. But now he plays in the Masters, and he feels that rush. He gets that adrenaline. He feels the crowd cheering. He sees that this matters, right? This is dope. I like the way this feels. This ain't like what I'm seeing in my little, tour with 50 people, country to country, etc. So I think what Brooks felt after leaving Augusta was that I can do, I'm back, cuz I'm Brooks Koepka. I got 4 majors at the time, and I should have a green jacket in my opinion. Whatever, we can get in that later. And then he goes out, feels that same energy from the crowd that he felt at Augusta, and he came through and prevailed. So I think the Brooks Koepka that we knew, who was winning majors, is back. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Brooks is back. And if you go to a quote that he had yesterday, Brooks said something like, "I'm not here to talk about LIV. I'm here to celebrate me." Right? So I found that dynamic and that quote to be, I don't want to call it selfish, but I'll say it was Brooks's turn to get his flowers yesterday, and the media tried to spin it and make some LIV argument about validation.
So do you think if Brooks knew that he was going to recover the way he back to full 100% health, do you think that he would have left for LIV?
No. Short answer is no. If he could have had a crystal ball and saw that he'd be back in a year and a half, 2 years after all this stuff, I don't think he leaves. But I also don't think he knew that he loved the energy from the crowd and the fans like he has. Because let's be honest, we're seeing a new Brooks Koepka. He's done media. He's been very honest and vocal about his feelings and attitudes, etc. when he has done the media, and he's not that blunt, show-off, standoffish asshole that we saw him on the latter half of his PGA Tour career.
Yeah. I had to say this. I'm glad that he's gone in a roundabout way. And the reason why I say that is because...
Glad that he's gone. Okay.
I'm glad he's gone because if I get Brooks Koepka, the past 2 major Brooks Koepka, from Masters to just past PGA, if I get this type of Brooks Koepka 4 times a year, I'll take that. I'm good.
You good with that?
I am so good with that. As opposed to him playing the PGA Tour schedule, halfway wanting to be on there in the regular season.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up. And by the time he get to majors, he's probably tired or what have you. But if I get a fresh Brooks Koepka 4 times a year, I'll take it. I'll take that. I'll take it all day long. And that's where I'm appreciative of this new Brooks Koepka. I mean, you got to think.
Yeah. No,
the guy.
That makes sense.
I mean, he has more majors than he has regular season wins on PGA Tour, doesn't he? I believe.
Yeah, I want to
yes.
say it's like 5 and 4 now.
Yeah, like 5 and 4, 5 and 3 maybe, something like that.
We can check the numbers, Colby. You can look that up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know he's won. He won the what did he win? He won here in Phoenix. That was his first PGA Tour.
That was the first one. I think he won Phoenix twice, I believe.
That sounds about right.
20.
He didn't win. No, he didn't win the second.
No, he won it. He won in 21. He won in 21.
So he's got 4.
Yeah, he won it.
He's got more majors. To your point, more majors than PGA Tour wins. Yes.
I mean, yeah. It's not counting WGC and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But so, and I think that's what makes it so great. So if and that's where another thing too. You know, when you see the players, you know, look more refreshed, you know, from the live guys because they're not you know putting the tee in the ground every week, and I'm okay with seeing these players refresh and ready to go. So I'm happy. I can't wait to see the next two majors, and hopefully we have more refresher Brooks Koepka.
All right, so we know Brooks is that dude. Let's put it out there. But here's what I think is messy as we go through. So Brooks won the 15 WM Phoenix Open, 18 CJ Cup. He won the St. Jude 21. Okay, there we go. So there's his wins. So he's only got one Phoenix Open, and in this, St. Jude was also a 19. So there we go. That's his resume. And you were right. He did win the 21. Because I was thinking 22 when he lost right before Sahith Theegala and all that stuff. He was in the mix come late. So you're right. He won Phoenix twice. It's on me. But here's what I think it's messy and interesting. Because when you win a PGA Tour event, you are granted with PGA Tour membership. So if we think about this logically, Brooks Koepka has earned the right
to be back on the PGA Tour.
To be back on the PGA Tour with this win. Now, I don't know where Jay Monahan or nobody's thinking, but I didn't see Brandel talking about that last night. And that's where I think this can get super messy.
Yeah. I mean,
if the PGA Tour come back, I don't know what shit. You tell me.
I tell you this, when I saw that picture with Jay Monahan, Roy McIlroy, and Phil Mickelson all together.
Yeah, going to that dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me think like, I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff that can be, you know, misinterpreted.
We can spin.
We can do that for days, but it makes you wonder: is there a conversation that can be had in that aspect as well?
Yeah, I mean, but
I don't know. I mean,
he was suspended. You know, guys that went to live, they were suspended. Okay, we understand that. Okay, but in that suspension, there's this kind of rescinding of the membership. Like, you know what? I'm good on that membership. I'm going over here. You can suspend me. You can do whatever you want to. But now it's not a PGA Tour event, but it's a major.
Right.
And he won it. So that grants him a pathway.
So, all right. Well, okay. Now also goes back to the original statement that I just mentioned with Brandon Chamblee and Brad Faxon. How do you feel about Ryder Cup? Like, how do you feel about Brooks playing for his country at Ryder Cup, which is not a paid event?
Let's just look at it. Let's look at it on paper. It's on paper. The four majors are non-PGA Tour sanctioned events. All right, the PGA Tour. Well, because if they were, we wouldn't have had horrible freaking credentials for the PGA Championship that we had. First of all, because the tour credential would have superseded the little media punch card that we got to. Will and I had some horrible access to PGA Championship. It's all right. We're going to have to talk to our contacts.
Hey, Ricky Fowler asked you, Doug, why are you on the other side of the rope? And Doug was like, I don't know.
You know what, Ricky? Let me just address Ricky Fowler real quick. Ricky the coolest cat out there. And that was such an infuriating question. Because Ricky was like, you could tell he wanted to talk going down the fairway. And it's like, I can't. I'm on this side of the ropes, bro. My broadcast level I ain't Michael Eaves yet. You know what I'm saying? We ain't there just yet. But I appreciate you bringing that up because I felt like the kid that got picked last in the basketball game in middle school. I was like,
Everybody looked at you like, what are you doing? Poor Doug.
But you know, let me lose my train of thought with the Ricky comment.
Ryder Cup.
Ryder Cup. Okay, should Brooks be eligible? Short answer is yes. Why? Because the majors are non-sanctioned PGA Tour events. Brooks is still an American. It's not, you represent your country. I get it. It's the best golfers representing America. The Ryder Cup is one of the properties that is owned by the PGA of America, just like the PGA Championship that Brooks Koepka just won. I'm not saying I'm in favor of LIV. Not saying that at all. But I am in favor of the best golfers playing for the country, regardless of who the hell they are. Right? So you can say the best PGA Tour players. I don't care. I want the best team to go to Rome possible. And at this point, with Brooks Koepka winning the PGA Championship, you cannot leave him off of that team. You can't do it.
I mean, shoot, when PGA and is showing in the Masters, you can't do it.
You can't leave Brooks Koepka. I mean, look, okay, he's played 2 PGA Tour events this year, and he's finished second in the Masters, and he won the PGA Championship. You're not going to tell me this guy's not one of the best players in the world? And I'm sorry to stay on Brooks Koepka right now. Brooks is a friend, Will. We talked to him before the tournament even started. This guy is a formidable force. You can't deny it. He's in the Hall of Famer. 5 majors, only 19 other players in the history of golf have 5 or more majors. He's in rarefied air, and you're going to tell me he's not qualified to represent the United States in the Ryder Cup? I'm not buying that.
I tell you this, between him and something else that was rarefied air was Mr. Michael Block, former APGA participant.
But wait, Will, he's not black. How can he play on the APGA? Sorry.
Yeah, don't do that.
Messy. I was getting messy.
Don't do that.
Let me get messy today. You know what I mean? It's not a minority. It's a tour to help minorities.
Right.
It's DE&I, baby. It's inclusive.
So, what was your thoughts on Michael Block this whole week? I said this in a couple comments.
You want me to
that I've seen
that
I've seen on air on IG. Excuse me. Is that he didn't win this week? I mean, he did win the PGA Professional category, yes, but he didn't win this week. But he won this week.
No, he won. He won over everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
So, I mean, number one, let's just shout out all 20 PGA professionals that made it into the field, and we got to shout out Wyatt Worthington, who did make it into the field via the PPC. Didn't have the week that he had hoped for. But look, let's be honest. Before we get on Black or Block, that's a hard-ass golf course. Well, we talked about it. We sat on 6 during the practice round, and we said to ourselves, this hole ain't no bitch. Like this, I mean, there's really no other way to describe it.
Well, we said this hole ain't no bitch about 12 times.
We did say that, like, hey, man. This hole ain't no... I feel like the only easy hole out there was 14 because it was drivable, and that's still drivable. Easy. Yeah, like
right.
So, shout out to all the PGA professionals that got in there. And shout out to Michael Block for making the cut. Okay, now let's get on Michael Block because I need to understand what he's doing as a professional to be able to compete at this level. I mean, this is a man that was paired with Rory McIlroy in the final round of a PGA Championship. He had every piece of media in the golf world on him after the round 170. After round 170. After the round 270, he's going to make the cut. Everybody's talking. He did a walk and talking on the golf course. He had people on the range with him the day before. He accepted the challenge. And look, what he was able to do as a PGA professional, has he played in PGA Tour events before? Yes. It's not new. But what he was able to do and accomplish, especially finishing top 15, which guarantees him he didn't have to qualify for the PGA Championship next year. But in this photo, this photo of Michael Block's got his hands on his forehead. I don't know if you see that vodka soda he's got in front of him. This man did not turn down a drink all week. He was out there playing like it was a hit and giggle with the homies at the club. He was talking about, man, I'm about to go have me a couple IPAs. He's drinking vodka sodas. Look, he's actually double fisting in this photo. There's probably a beer in the left cup and a vodka soda in the right cup. And to be able to go out there and be his authentic self and ham and egg the hell out of it. I mean, I'm sorry. When he needed to hit a clutch shot, he hit a clutch shot. When his back was against the rope, he got the 2 over par coming down the stretch. No big deal. I'm going to just hit a hole in freaking 1. Straight jarred it. Dunked it. It was his week.
What I liked about the most was, you know how, like, you put your time in on something and the universe just pays you back? Mm. Like, I felt like this was that moment. Like, we know Michael Block has had his ebbs and flows and trials and tribulations in the game of golf. I'm sure he once wanted to be an aspiring tour pro. That didn't work out. He got into the golf space by teaching. And I just felt like this was the week where the universe was like, it's all coming back. Yeah. And I can appreciate that. But the whole point, what I really liked about it was he was vulnerable, Doug. Like he let us know where he stood. He let us know how he was feeling. His reactions were authentic. Like, I mean, when you find out he was playing with Roy McIlroy, that was priceless to me.
Yeah.
That was priceless.
Or when he talked about the fact that he was beating John Rahm after 2 days and he teared up in the press conference.
Yeah.
That was priceless to me. You know what?
Yeah.
And I will say this. I don't think we give our broadcasters flowers enough. Amanda Renner, she got me on the post-round interview. Had me tear. I'm over here on the couch, choked up. She was talking about his son putting together the event back at his golf course there in Southern Cal and all the members that had come out to support their guy. You know, that I think that's the essence of the PGA Championship. And
hold on, Doug. And let me tell you how more authentic, why I really love this guy. Because he does stuff that people at home can understand and feel. He shanked the ball.
Michael Block, Shank of the Week belongs to Michael Block.
Shank of the Week belongs to Michael Block. But that's what made it so great, man. He was just we had a pleasure of playing with him and I met him on a few occasions. I can reach out to him if I have to.
Yeah.
But on the APGA Tour, always been a standout of a guy. And I just have to say, man, I am so happy for him, and he deserves everything that is coming his way.
Yeah, Michael Block playing this week in the Charles Schwab Cup there in Fort Worth. We're going to be spending some time there in the great state of Texas coming up this week. We're going to be in the Senior PGA Championship. And I tell you what, hell, Michael Block, he got 4 more years, cuz. And he's eligible for the Senior PGA Championship. They might as well give him a spot now. I appreciate the story, when we talk about Michael Block. Just your average dude, average cat, makes it to the PGA Championship, and now he's a name. And all the trials and the tribulations of golf that have pushed him down and beat him up, man, he on top of the golf world right now. Every publication. I mean, hell, he made it to Roger Steele's damn Instagram page on the warm up. Don Ray posting him on. I mean, is there anywhere that Michael Block or this Block Party isn't right now?
I have to say this. He was on Good Morning America this morning, and I was like,
I'm not surprised.
I was like, this is what it's all about.
It's almost like, Will, instead of having Brooks do the media tour, you know what? Hell with him. Let's go ahead and get Michael Block in here because the story is way better.
Well, it is. It's a great story, and I love the fact that he's at a space now to where the hole is bigger. When he made that reference, that I completely agree with that. He's teaching, he's making a good living teaching.
Yep.
Well, but he
shit.
says he says I'm at a space right now where I'm home more with my kids, and the hole is just bigger. And this week the hole was bigger. The hole was bigger than everybody else.
And the greens were perfect.
And the greens were perfect.
It's funny. Michael Block, $125 an hour for lessons. He'd have to give over 2,900 lessons to make what he made this week. We'll go to this leaderboard right here just to take a peek at who got some cheese this week. There he is, Michael Block, 15th place. Will, $288,333, and half of that is taxes, and the other half is that bar tab that he had to pay for the 30,000 people that saw him hit a hole.
Who were on that hole, right?
Yeah, Michael Block
Absolutely.
made $30,000 this week after all this shit. No, you know what though, and I'd be remiss if we don't talk about. There's 2 things, and we'll keep this up for just a little bit. Keep that back up. Because I want to talk through a couple things. Victor Hovland, Sunday performance. He hit one bad shot. Hit a drive there in the bunker, plugged it in the face like we saw Corey Connors do in the previous round. And, well, how do you blade a 9-iron into the face of a bunker? I wasn't there. Couldn't tell how deep it was. I will say for those at home, that golf course was way hillier, and the undulation was way crazier than what you could see on the cameras at home. I'll say that. We synced it.
Doug, I can't really answer that question. Just get off the golf course, and I did blade a 9-iron. So my case, it was a faulty lie. I don't know.
You didn't shake it though.
Who on this list, Doug, is a surprise to you? Like who is surprised to you on this? We're looking at the player finish. From first to tie for 18th. Who's on this list is surprising?
I mean, number one that surprises me just out the gate is Patrick Cantlay. I don't think we saw him the whole week hit a golf shot on the coverage. I'm being facetious, but I didn't realize that he backdoored the top 10 till I just read this list as we're talking right now. But the person that I think, made the most move, I guess you could say, in his career is Min Woo Lee. Via his finish, he has special temporary exemption now, and he's open to all the unlimited amount of sponsors exemptions. Also, it's not on this list, but Mr. Fox, Ryan Fox, he actually made enough FedEx Cup points to earn special temporary exemption this week as well. So I think those stand out. I think Sepp Straka. I mean, when it gets hard, dude, Sepp Straka just kind of shows up and he's just around there. And Scotty Scheffler, no surprise. Back number one in the world. I'm not surprised by Scotty Scheffler. I'm interested to see what he's going to do this week there at Colonial for sure. That course is diesel. Very shotmakers golf course, ball strikers golf course, just like we saw last week. But what about you? What surprises you here? Because I feel like there's something there.
I'd probably say Eric Cole. Eric Cole is a shocker for me. I mean, he's 46 on the FedEx Cup points race, 103rd in the world golf rankings. Maybe 2 top finishes this year, 2 top 10 finishes this year. So I probably say that's a shocker. I don't really see Eric Cole's name on the top of many leaderboards. Tommy Fleetwood has had his struggles in the beginning of the year. Now he's kind of somewhat going on an upward spiral.
But if we go real quick, Eric Cole, though, he did finish tied for the lead and lost in the playoff at Honda. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so that was one of his 2 top 10 finishes of the year.
Coming at the Vedanta Mexico Championship.
Absolutely.
That's correct. Yeah.
So I want to say that's probably a big one. Eric Cole, Mito Pereira.
You said it right. Yes.
I said it right for once. I didn't see a top 20 from him after what happened last year. I did not see that. So that's a shocker. Patrick Reed's always consistent. You're going to see his name on the leaderboards.
I think the amount of LIV players, too, it's not... Look, LIV, we got to also understand that LIV players were PGA Tour players. They left the tour. They didn't get worse at golf. They might not finish well in their little, scramble events that they play on their tour, but they are PGA Tour golfers. So you look back at that list, you had Cantlay, Koepka, Smith. I don't forgot the list now. Of all the players, you had Pereira up on that list. You had a lot of guys that made the jump, came back and competed. DeChambeau, of course. I don't know, man. I know people like to make a big deal out of this LIV stuff, whatever. I really don't, because it's just golf. But I think it's interesting. I think the dynamic right now, Will, of where we are in the landscape. Will LIV get canceled because they're not turning a profit? Will they keep going? I don't know. I'm interested to see kind of how all this plays out, man.
I'm interested to see how it plays out from LIV perspective, and also interested to see how it plays out from the PGA Tour perspective. You got some players who I don't know if happy is the word, but when you see Roy McIlroy, not show up because of whatever reason, he had to get fined, and I heard a lot of other players on the tour.
Took a big health break.
Yeah, right. And that's what it is. When you're playing all that golf, you do need a mental health break. And you see, Jordan Spieth is battling injury as well. So he really has to show up for these designated events. And hearing some of the things that I'm hearing next year, when it comes to, having no cut for next year. I heard that was a possibility.
Yeah.
And now I start thinking about the sponsors. Are the sponsors going to get everything they want out of it? Are they going to get, are they going to make their money when it comes to the pro-ams.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how my mind works, man. You know, I'm just thinking about like from a sponsorship perspective. You know, when it's considered a opposite field event, but it's not really a true opposite field event. You know, like how what are the sponsors going to get out of it? So I don't know with PGA Tour making all these adjustments and
I like that word. Good use, good word right there.
Making all these adjustments, but you know, is it just digging a hole for the players so they can really come out here and perform? But is it going to be favored towards the Eric Coles of the world? You know, so and that's why I'm just kind of thinking like how they're going to do this, like how they're going to suss this out.
Well, I mean, I think we've seen that in the jostling and the changing of the PGA Tour calendar. You look at certain events that are now designated and others that don't have the designation, and then where they fall in the calendar. Look, the Valero Texas Open this year, fantastic golf course. The hospitality there is amazing, but it's also the week after a designated event, and then it's the week before the Masters. So we look at kind of like the guys, like Jordan Spieth didn't play in Texas that week, right? So I think we've seen a little bit of what might come, because now you're going to have to cherry pick some events. Because I think 17 designated events, you're only going to get to play probably 3 other events. You're still playing 20, 21 weeks, and you're a top player. So it's like, you're going to play 17 events that you know. Which is a good... Hey, look, Steph Curry would love to play 17 weeks or events, games, versus 1,000 with the playoffs, right? Like, I'm just saying, I still struggle with the team aspect of the schedule, right? When we compare a team athlete, like pick an NBA player, pick an NFL player, they would love to play and do what the PGA Tour guys do, but yet the PGA Tour guys are saying it's too much. Like baseball, with the travel and stuff, you mean to tell me?
They play 4 and 13 games in MLB, don't they?
They play. That's a good
162?
question. I think it's 180?
62, I think.
162. Okay.
Yeah.
162 games they play in the season. That's just regular season. That's not with the postseason, right? So with the postseason, et cetera, these guys don't get to take off and have mental health breaks like we saw from Rory McIlroy a couple weeks ago. They just don't get it.
Yeah, but
I know it's different. I get it.
It's so mentally draining on the golf course. You know that, dog.
I know, but I'm just. Are they going? If they play the team sport, like they gonna just tell coach like, "Hey, coach, I need a break, man. I'm stressed. All this travel. I need to take some time to myself."
I just think it's gonna backfire. I don't know if it's backfire is a word, but I just don't know how pleasing it's going to be to these guys when they have to show up. Yeah, you get more money, but you have to show up, and it's going to be. Don't want them to come resentful, Don't want them to come in strife, and that's what I'm scared of.
But what does the landscape now change? So talk about black and brown relations, right? We're gonna talk PGA Tour Live relations, right? Now we have a major champion that is not a member of the PGA, well, a suspended member of the PGA Tour. We talked about this on the IG. We talked about it off the top of this show. Will the PGA Tour and the Live get closer together now? Does Brooks's win validate, justify Live? Like now, what? Like what happens now?
I think
this shit talking.
I think the more Live players perform well, it's going to be a kumbaya moment because you got to think, because the golf world wants to see these players. They want to see these players. They want to see them. They want to see them, especially if you're winning majors. So you mean tell me, these guys won't see Brooks in that setting like they did just this past week until U.S. Open again? Come on, man. Come on. Now you can go watch Live and look like a horse race. When I watch it, I don't know what's going on. My ADD be going crazy when I watch Live. like what? I'm like, is this the Preakness? Like, this is HGTV? What is this?
TVG.
TVG. I'm all over the place when I watch Live. But however, I think you're gonna want to see the best players perform week in, week out as much as possible.
Well, I don't think anything happens because Brooks Koepka won the PGA Championship. I don't think that the tours are getting closer together and farther apart. I think everything's going to stay the status quo. We're going to have Eamon Lynch and Brandel Chambly talk their shit, do what they do to the downtrodden. Brandel pissed. Let me tangent. I love Brandel. As a matter of fact, we got to get Brandel in here one day so we can go back and forth. Nobody cares about the backstory of Liv. Brandel went into a soliloquy about where the money's coming from and how all these other ancillary things. We're talking about golf and a paycheck right now. Don't nobody give a damn. Brooks cares. Brooks made almost $8 million plus the Liv incentive for winning the PGA Championship. He's going to make $10, $15 million after all this is said and done this year.
And this, and nobody in this country. Yeah,
shut up.
Right. In a country, this country is good for not caring about backstory and history. Yeah, so we should be okay.
Especially if you're outside of Florida. I'm just kidding. Florida joke. I'm just kidding. I'm sitting there. We over here trying to close the show out. Will eating. What the hell are you crunching on?
I want everybody to know I am eating on Harvest Snaps.
This is
one
free
of the
plug,
best.
By the way, we are not getting paid for this.
But I'm hoping it leads to a developing relationship, Doug. Harvest Snaps.
Go ahead, give Harvest Snaps a shout out. You know what? I'm gonna leave people with this. I love Will Lowry. That's my homie, my man. Pots and pans. We've gone all over this country together. We went through TSA together at the damn PGA Championship, trying to get into the golf course. And Will, something that I learned this week that I'm frustrated for you, being a vegetarian and catered food events, I feel sorry for you sometimes because there were days where you didn't eat while we were out there because the offerings sucked. So that's what's grinding my gears right now. I'm sorry to go out on this pro-vegetarian, vegan, whatever you. I can't keep up with what you are. It depends on if you're home or traveling.
Yes.
But I'm frustrated for you, my guy.
Yeah, I mean, everywhere I go, I probably need Harvest Snaps. The crunch that you crave with a big-time taste. Harvest Snaps.
Yo, Will Lowry, Dougie Fresco, we up out of here, man. Appreciate y'all always rocking with us beyond the fairway. We'll be back next week, chop it up about Charles Schwab Cup and maybe preview a little bit of this US Open. I'm looking forward to that. Will's going to be out there doing some stuff for USGA at LACC. And I don't know. You never know where I'll pop up. Will, good to see you. I'll see you tomorrow, actually. Holla.